Today's Thursday, the last sitting day of this week, and I'm here today with Jackie Dean, the Honourable Jackie Dean, who is the newly minted Assistant Speaker. Jackie's a very experienced parliamentarian into her 6th term now, and has the advantage of having been a minister. And I think when you're Assistant Speaker, that's really good because it means that you can understand how Parliament works, both from the angle of backbenchers and ministers. But today we start off, as we always start off, with questions for ministers, starting with an ACT question. Brock van Velden, who's the Deputy Leader of ACT to the Minister of Health, about the End of Life Choice Act. Helen White to the Minister of Finance, she's another new member, about the reports on the New Zealand economy. Dr Shane Retty to the Minister for Child Poverty Reduction, about which measures have changed since 2018. Angela Roberts to the Minister of Education is about carbon emissions in schools. Michael Woodhouse to the Minister of Transport about the Auckland Light Rail project and the findings of the Auditor General. The Honourable Eugenie Sage to the Minister for Oceans and Fisheries about the reform of fisheries management. Louise Upston to the Minister of Social Development about youth unemployment and government policies. Tangi Utakere to the Minister of the Environment about the resource management system. Dr James McDowell to the Minister of Immigration about border exemptions for shearing workers. I think that means for shearers rather than for people who are going to shear workers, but we'll find out when we get to it. Arena Williams to the Minister for Maori Development about support for the Maori economy. Simeon Brown to the Minister of Police about gun violence in New Zealand, and Joe Luxton to the Minister of Conservation about the Milford Trap. And after that...
And then we move into the address and reply debate, and this afternoon till about 4 o'clock, so about an hour of speeches from members in reply to the address from the throne. And then at 4 o'clock, Trevor will assume the chair again because we have the maiden statements from a number of members, and it's always such a wonderful occasion, isn't it?
It's lovely.
So this afternoon we have the maiden statements from Simon Court, Camilla Bellich, Rawiri Waititi and Debbie Nariwa-Paka. So that's something that's always pretty special in this house. But the best news of the day, in my humble view, is that we have a new finishing time for the week. So instead of finishing at 6 o'clock in the evening, we now finish at 5, which means many MPs who live in far-flung parts of New Zealand, like myself, although there are several who live further afield than I do, get a plane home for the night so that we can hit the ground running in the morning in our electorates.
See you again next Tuesday.